Hey world, you're listening to Globethotter, the pod that puts the lover in travel lover. I'm your host, Cassy Martinez, and each week I trade tales with a slew of amazing adventurers who, like me, kiss and tell. A 25-year-old travel blogger who describes herself as cautiously reckless, you may know today's guest, Nicole Hu, as HuTravelsTheWorld on TikTok and IG, where she dishes out backpacker and budget travel tips to her thousands of followers on the regular. From tips on quitting your job to travel the world just like Nicole did last year, to advice on embracing the cringe and deciding to go for it as a travel creator. Tune in as Nicole shares her glass half full perspective on living your best life. On a budget, of course. And be sure to pop out your Google Maps as Nicole shares her favorite hidden gems from her most recent backpacking adventures in Mexico and Colombia. I sure did. So go ahead, settle back, relax, because Globethotter is taking off. Hey world, we're back with the pod that puts the lover in travel lover. Today I'm joined with Nicole Hu. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, so good. You guys, Nicole is a self-proclaimed budget traveler who likes nice things. That's something that I deeply resonate with.
Yeah, words to live by.
Right, exactly. And when in travel mode, like, come on, let's go. Mm-hmm. But you guys, Nicole is a 25-year-old Chinese-American travel blogger who quit her job during the Great Resignation last year to travel the world, which is honestly something I can't wait to get into with you. With 42 countries under her belt and counting, Nicole has grown an audience online thanks to her raw and real travel tips that are just perfect for solo adventurers on a budget. She's fresh off 4.5 months backpacking through Mexico and Colombia, and Nicole is back home and she's spilling the tea with us today. So welcome.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can just imagine like 4.5 months. Like, how are you feeling?
Okay, I did actually have like a month and a half in between breaking at home for like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that helped a lot. And then I could just like regroup and everything. But after 3 months of being in Mexico, going home, I was like, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm kind of ready to come home.
Totally. And where is home for you?
I'm from Chicago, like the suburbs.
Got you.
Yeah, so I'm living with my parents right now until I start traveling again.
Hell yeah. I'm reporting live from my parents' house right now, too.
Love that. Yeah, best way to save money.
Right. You heard it here first. Mm-hmm. So give us a tease. What have the last few months been like for you?
It's just been a lot of like being very spontaneous. Like, okay, so when I first got to Mexico, I was actually planning on moving to Shanghai in last September to teach English. But then my job actually got canceled. I don't really know why, but it got canceled. So then I just had like a ton of time on my hands and I was like, I'm just going to stay in Mexico. And I was in Sayulita at the time and I ended up staying there for a month. And I know you love it too. Like, it is the best town. And then, yeah, I literally couldn't leave. I just like kept extending my stay at the hostel that I was staying at. And then, yeah, I ended up staying for 3 months there. And then when I got home, I was like, I'll just keep traveling and decided on going to Colombia for a month and a half. I actually first went to Mexico before I went to Colombia and then stayed in Colombia for a while. And then next month, I'm going to Ecuador probably for a month or two. So it's just been a lot of like very spontaneous trips and I have like nothing planned. But like when you get there, you figure it out really fast. You know, like you get to your first hostel and then what I do is I just ask people like, what should I do? Where should I go? Like, what's good here? And then they tell me everything. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have like a wild plan now. Like, it's just so easy because usually people are like either they've been there for a while or they're just getting there too.
Yeah.
I feel like people think it's really scary to like not have anything planned. But for me, it's like that's so much easier.
So true. So true. Beyond like the first hostel, I do not like to make plans. Like, let the trip show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And because things might change. Like, you might meet someone that's really cool and like want to go where they're going. Or like, I don't know, you might hear of somewhere that you've never even heard of. And you're like, wow, like I need to do that, you know?
Yes. She's honestly dripping all the facts in the first 2 minutes. Like, literally just have your note app out and be like, oh, where do you like to go? And if you don't understand, literally hand the phone over and be like, can you write that for me? I don't want to get it spelled wrong.
No, exactly. Yeah. Like anytime I ask or anytime I get a new location, I'll just save it in my Google Maps thing and then I'll probably end up going.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing too. Like when you've got that time on your hands and there's no end date in sight, it's like, okay, sure, I'll take the slow and easy route, the scenic view.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's always like a bus to get there, or it's so easy.
Yeah. Something that's coming up a lot in just our conversation so far is just the spontaneity. Do you feel like travel has helped you with the spontaneity?
I've just always been like, I call it cautiously reckless. Like, I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I would just do very like kind of things like spontaneously and just like book things randomly. So I've kind of always been like that. But I guess now, because I'm not working and I don't really have anything tying me down, it's like kind of more than the average 25-year-old.
I love that. I honestly wrote it down, cautiously reckless.
Yeah, like you're not doing anything like super dumb where like you're gonna jeopardize your safety, you know? But like also you're doing stuff where like you're very actively living, you know?
Yes, yes. That's what we're going for these days, guys. Actively living.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's the best.
So what did you come back home to do? Why did the ship derail just temporarily?
Oh, so I came back for a family friend's wedding in late February. And then after that, I didn't have any plans. And then it was like my birthday 2 weeks ago. And I was talking to my dad and he was talking about how if I wanted to go anywhere, like flight prices were going to get really expensive in the next few weeks. So that night I was just looking at flights to anywhere and I booked a flight to Ecuador for like the next month. And then until then, I'll probably just be at home kind of like freelancing and like trying to make money.
Totally, totally. And what is the kind of like lane of freelance that you do?
I just started in Upwork because I think another travel blogger posted about Upwork on Instagram and I looked it up and it's actually really easy. You just kind of make a profile and start applying for jobs and it's like social media or like, I don't know, like you can do whatever, like transcribing or like teaching English, anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I get asked that too sometimes, like, well, how can I have this digital nomad life too? And I always recommend, like, if you're on TikTok, if you're in this live right now, like, you get social media much more than most of the population. Get out there. And Upwork is a fantastic place to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what do you do for work?
So I do mostly like social media management and strategy. So that's always been my lane. And I used to do it in an office, actually. And then like 6 years ago, I remember I was like girl bossing too close to the sun and half the company got laid off like overnight. And I remember thinking to myself, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm getting a check to leave.
Wow, that's crazy. How long did you work there for?
Just half a year until I got taken to a private little room and got given a folder and a package. And I was like, well, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to Portugal. Maybe I just won't come back. And that's how the solo travel started.
No way. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So I deeply resonate with your story. But, I was thinking about, did you just turn 25?
Mm-hmm. Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And I was thinking about when I started solo traveling, I was, I think, 26 already.
Okay.
Like I had been in that girl boss era for most of my early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the layoff happened, I was already 26. And you're kind of already battling those feelings of like, is it too late? And it's not.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah, I went to my first hostels and they were all in Europe. And like, I don't know about you, but I feel like Europe hostels is like people on gap year. They're like 18.
For sure, yeah. Well, even now, I feel like traveling when I was in Mexico, it was mostly Europeans because they're all like in their early 20s or like, I guess it's better because a lot of them are Germans or Dutch and they always start university later. So it's like they take a few years off anyways. So if they're studying abroad right now, they're already like 24, 25 in undergrad. So that kind of made me feel better. But otherwise, they are very young still. And I'm like, oh my God, Americans don't live like this because we can't afford to.
No, seriously. Like, I feel like with the world of TikTok, and it's a credit to like the kind of content that you're making that we're learning in America what hostels are.
True, yeah.
Like in Europe, it's a rite of passage and it's always been a rite of passage.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like here now, it's like, oh, wait, I can do that? Wait, what do you mean bunk beds? Parties? What?
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, no. I feel like I didn't really know what they were until I studied abroad either. And I was like, I need to do like the cheapest thing possible.
Oh, I learned about them from my roommate in LA because she had done a year abroad before me. And she's like, dude, there's these things. They're called hostels. And I think you're going to love them. And then sure enough.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, they're great.
Well, speaking of hostels, I'd love to hear what a post-trip aftercare looks like for you. Like, how are you getting back to peak Nicole after that hostel life?
Yeah, good question. I guess it's a lot of sleeping in, at least for a few days, and then just like catching up on all of my shows. I don't think I watched TV while I was traveling, just because I don't know. I need to be like focused to like get through all of my TV shows, so I never do while I travel. But I know a lot of people who will just like take the time out of their trips and like do that, but I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of sleeping. I'm playing with my dog because she's like getting really old. She's almost 13 now.
Oh my God.
I know. But she's aging well. So like I think she'll live until she's like 30. Oh, I also get back into working out because I never do while I'm traveling. And I feel like my muscles just kind of atrophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I feel that. There's only so much all those uphill walks can do for your bod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even then, I'm like trying to avoid those. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, speaking of Sayulita and that place we both love, there was one of the best hostels in town was like on the biggest hill.
Viajero.
Yes, Viajero. Write it down, y'all. On the biggest hill. But then not only that, like this place.
The stairs.
Yeah. Like I'm trying
God.
to choose the right word to describe it. Like it's a complex.
It is. It's like a fortress.
There's wings. Yes,
Yeah.
there's wings to it. There's a like incredible amount of stairs, and the best rooftop bar, or one of the arguably best rooftop bars in Sayulita, is on top of all of it.
Yeah, that's true. But you have to climb like 4 flights of stairs.
There's no way you get up there looking cute.
No, you're drenched.
Yeah, give yourself like 2 minutes, sit down, freshen up, and then go up that last flight.
Or like jump in the pool first.
Ooh, yes, that's another thing that Viajero has going for it. The pool.
Yeah, that's big.
But I mean, on that note, you actually stayed in La Redonda. Do you want to give it like a quick shout out of why you loved it so much?
Oh my God. Yeah, I loved La Redonda so much. It is like in the perfect location in Sayulita, like right in the center of town. It's also just like the friendliest place ever. So it's called like La Redonda, like the circle. And then you just kind of hang out in that area. So when I first got to Sayulita last September or like August, my first day there, I got there at like 5 p.m. and this girl in my room was like, we're all going to go to the beach to watch the sunset. Do you want to come? And I like went immediately and I hung out with those people for like the next 2 weeks after and they became like my best friends. Yeah, it was so fun. I don't know. The people who stay there are really cool and the people who work there are cool too, like the volunteers and the manager. And it's like a really cute environment. They do like surf trips, happy hours. You need a good happy hour in a hostel.
Right, totally. And I mean, like, we've got, honestly, a tale of two hostels here. Like, Viajero is, like, massive, right? And it has its own, like, pros to it. And then you've got a La Redonda as well with its pros. And it's just, like, honestly, like, I get FOMO even just on Hostel World. I can't decide. Do you ever experience this?
Always. Yeah, no, but sometimes I'll just stay. If I'm staying somewhere for, like, a week or something, I'll split up my stay and go to both places, you know?
Totally. And like, I feel like even in like the hostel off seasons too, like maybe you can like play it by ear, like book both.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's honestly like at $10, $13 a night, you're like, okay, I chose one. I've made my choice.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you're not losing that much. It's for sure worth it.
So 42 countries so far is no small feat. When did you start traveling? How did this happen?
Like my parents were pretty good about getting me to travel and I took my first solo trip when I was 16 to Costa Rica.
What?
I did this like volunteering thing through this program called Global Leadership Adventures. And I just like showed up to the airport and went on the plane by myself, like got there and then met up with the group. So it wasn't like completely solo, but it was my first time kind of like getting to a place by myself. And then through that, it was like 3.5 weeks and we volunteered at a school and built like an actual sports court, which yeah, I don't know how I feel about the ethics of like, there's the whole like volunteerism thing that's like kind of, I wouldn't recommend it now, but I think at the time this thing was okay because we actually built something concrete, like we literally built concrete, like we were like shoveling rocks and like creating sand and dirt. So it was a lot of work, but it was really fun.
Whoa.
Yeah. And we took like a surf trip and you know, like we were just doing it all by ourselves and I met people from like all over the world actually. And I don't know, that was when I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like it was really scary at first. I remember crying on the way to the airport to my mom. I was like, this is going to be terrible. And she was like, you're already signed up. You have to go. like, get on the plane.
Yeah, the check's been sent.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I got back, I was like, oh my God, I loved it so much. And then after, like, in college, I traveled a good amount. We took class trips to India, Vietnam, and then I studied abroad in Sevilla, where I lived with, like, a grandma, and everyone in Sevilla, like, no one really speaks English there. So all of my classes were in Spanish, and I was taking, like, finance and marketing. So that helped a lot with my Spanish and just, like, being able to, like, get out of my comfort zone and, like, push myself to travel, you know?
I so get that. Spain was my study abroad too. I was in Barcelona.
No way. Oh, that's so fun. I love that.
So a year ago, you were part of the Great Resignation.
Yes.
For those listening that are unaware of what that is, can you tell us in your own words, what was that?
Yeah, so I mostly quit because I feel like I was just burnt out after working almost 2 years at my corporate job, and there wasn't anything wrong with it. It was a very easy job. I was working from home. Like, I was very lucky to even have that job, but the whole thing, doing it every single day, like, it was just getting really hard to wake up in the morning, and I was just, like, exhausted all the time and very burnt out and, like, just kind of stuck. I feel like the pandemic kind of made everyone reevaluate what they want in life and, like, how they should be living, that kind of thing. So that's when I decided to just not do corporate anymore. And at the time I did have the teaching job lined up in Shanghai. So I was like, okay, I can just travel for a few months and then I'll have this lined up and I'll be fine. But obviously that got canceled. So it's a little more stressful money-wise, but it's still okay. Just, like, kind of doing some freelancing stuff. But I don't know. I didn't actually realize that the Great Resignation was a thing until this year when I was Googling it. And apparently there's, like, a whole Wikipedia page on it. Like, apparently 33 million people in the US quit. And even on Wikipedia, it says one of the biggest reasons is just due to, like, burnout with the pandemic and people reevaluating their lives. Yeah. Which is so real. And I feel like a lot of corporate jobs, companies are like, oh, you can work from home from anywhere. Like, this is a huge benefit. But at the same time, they're like, you need to be on all the time. Like, we're not letting you take off PTO because you're already working from home. Like, why can't you just be on vacation? But it's like, it's still not the same as, like, not working at all. You know, and that's kind of how my job was. And I was like, oh, this is dumb. Like, yeah.
And I can just imagine too, like, you didn't even realize that you were part of this cultural phenomenon. Like, that's just how it happened, you know, like, everybody was waking up and thinking the same thing as you.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, I feel like I haven't heard a ton of people talk about it, but now that I'm almost a year out, I have had a few friends text me and they're like, oh my God, I'm pulling a U and quitting my job and traveling. Like, one of my friends just got to Europe last month and he quit his job like 2 months ago and he's going to travel for like half a year or something, which is so exciting. Yes. And I love that people are doing this. Yeah. Because I feel like Americans never had this opportunity before.
Right. Exactly. So on that note, I'd love to hear any tips from you for a graceful exit from that 9 to 5, from that corporate job, for those listening that are looking to do the same as you.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I am very lucky because I moved home in the beginning of the pandemic. I had my own apartment in Chicago, but I was just like, I don't like living alone. And I don't know, it's nice spending time with my parents now that I'm older. So I was like, I'll just move home and save a ton of money. And I did. I was able to save around $10,000. And I thought that was enough for me to travel for around a year.
Solid.
Like, you need to calculate how big you want your safety net to be until you want to start working again or until you figure out, like, your next move. And after that, you can kind of just, like, go wherever. Because, I mean, the cost of living anywhere else outside of the US is so much lower. So a dollar goes so far. Even in Europe, like, even the expensive parts of Europe, like, it's still probably cheaper than living in the US. So yeah, I guess that's my biggest thing, is just kind of figuring out where you want to go. And then if you are an American, I would also take advantage of, like, credit card miles and earning points so that you don't really have to pay for flights, because that's probably the biggest cost that you'll have is flights.
Right. Just getting there, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, like, also if you have alternate forms of income, like investments, like that kind of thing, like, keep that going too. Right. I'm not like a financial advisor, but, like, my parents have always emphasized being very financially responsible. And, like, they taught me a lot just, like, growing up. So that made it a lot easier to, like, figure out my own finances even without a job.
Yeah, totally. And any tips on the side of, you know, like you were saying, that little safety net of 10K, were you auto depositing, or how did you kind of get to that number?
Yeah, always auto depositing. And then when I was living at home, I had like very little expenses. And also because I wasn't going anywhere, I was kind of just like working every day and then like going on a walk and that's it. But yeah, just like figuring out how much you can save. And then also when I was traveling, it does help if you like travel very slowly. So I was probably only spending like $30 to $40 a day, sometimes less, sometimes more, you know,
Right.
that helps a lot. And then you're just staying in one place for a while. The good thing is that you get to know it a lot better.
Oof,
Like
yeah.
in Sayulita, spending a month there, after a week or two, you go out and you know like everyone there, which is great. It's so fun.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with slow travel. I feel like this episode is slowly but surely becoming like a love letter to Sayulita, Mexico.
It should be, honestly.
So aside from the pen and paper of budgeting and logistics, I want to know, how did you calm those like internal fears or anxieties of traveling without income?
I guess just like looking at my bank account every week or so and just being like, okay, I'm still doing okay. Like I'm still on budget, which is probably not the best. Like it's kind of retroactive. But if I was getting to a point where I would be getting too low, I could just like book a flight home using credit card miles or like I wasn't anywhere super far away. So I knew that it wouldn't be that hard to get home. But at that point I could just like book a flight and then be like, okay, let me just like go home and like start making more money really fast.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, it sounds like, you know, just getting a grip on like, dude, everything's going to be okay.
Okay, yeah, that's like my motto. Like, no matter like what shit is happening, it'll most likely be okay. So you can kind of just like keep living how you are. And then once things aren't okay anymore, like you can go home and figure it out.
Yeah, totally. There's a lesson that comes forth a lot in my therapy sessions that I'll share with you guys.
Oh, okay.
But basically, it's like about creating reference points, right? And let's create positive reference points. Like, let's remember the moments it all worked out. If you need to, write them down, you know, remember them, commit them to memory versus your brain, which always just likes to remember the negative times. It's like, remember that time when like you did have enough money to do something or the savings lined up correctly or like that taxi was there to pick you up, all these kind of positive reference moments. And the trick is, honestly, is that you get to more positive reference moments through the doing. So like if it is your first solo trip, you're gonna be super nervous because you don't have a lot of reference points yet. But you've been doing the damn thing for a long time now, you know? So you're building these reference points and you're like, dude, I remember this. This happened to me in Mexico. I got this.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, okay, maybe some people would say that I'm like low-key delusional in that I think that things are just going to work out. So like me and my friend were traveling in Colombia. We were taking in a flight from Medellin to Cartagena and we were on a bus like 4 hours away and our flight was in like 5 hours and there was so much traffic. And the whole time I was like, oh my God, we're totally fine. Like we're going to make our flight. It's going to be fine. And of course we miss our flight. We get to the airport at like 8:30 and the flight left at 8 o'clock. And the whole time I was like, oh, it's totally fine. We'll just get a new flight. And then we did.
Right.
So it was fine. We got a flight like 5 hours later. We just waited at the airport for a while. It did suck a little, but it all worked out.
It did. And like your butt was where you needed to be by that night. Like it worked out.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I did have to pay for a new flight, which sucked, but also it was only $30. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of keeping things in perspective.
Yeah. Like you're not dead. So.
Yeah. In these high stress situations, keep things in perspective of like, okay, you know, another therapy trick. Like they're just popping out.
I love these. I need to start going to therapy. I've been saying this for years now, but I'm just like too lazy to find a therapist.
Travel is its own form of therapy, but yes, also like a professional helps.
Yeah, always.
I love this tactic of just like follow the thread, like write the biggest fear. Like you're in that moment, your pal was like, dude, we're going to miss this flight. Holy shit. And it's like, okay, well, so what if we do? What happens next? Okay, well, then we book another one. Okay.
Exactly.
And then you're done following the thread. Most of the time, it's like much longer, actually. Like it's much more of a high stress situation of like, okay, well, my visa, that's like, keep following it, see where it leads and understand that you're not going to die, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It's not that bad things don't happen to me. I feel like I just take them well. Like I remember when I found out that my job in Shanghai got canceled, I was like in Sayulita and I was on the beach and I cried for an afternoon. And then after that, I was like, all right, we're going to just stay in Mexico. It's fine. Like, we're just going to keep living.
Yes. Let the tears come. Really.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I've cried so many times traveling.
Oh my gosh. So jumping onto my favorite subject, what's dating been like while backpacking?
Oh my God. I'm not gonna lie, I graduated college in 2019 and I had a dry spell for 2 years of literally like not going on dates, not doing anything. Also, I never really dated. I've never had a boyfriend either. And last summer when I traveled around to Croatia, Poland, and Mallorca, and I went on like my first date in so long in Mallorca, and it was so great. He was so cool. Like we had so much in common, and I was like, oh my God, I needed this to like get my groove back. It was, amazing. And then in Mexico, it was like, I met a lot of cool people there. I don't know if I went on any dates actually, but yeah, like I met people in hostels.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know how it is. And then in Colombia too, like meeting people in hostels. It is fun just like swiping on the apps and like talking to people and seeing like maybe it'll go somewhere, maybe not. But you're all in the same mindset where like if we like each other, we can travel together. If not, like we'll just hang out and like, I don't know, that'll be it, you know?
Right. Yes. Nothing to lose, baby.
Yeah. And especially like if they're not American, like Europeans are like, they're just like, I don't know, so much hotter.
Yes. Big agree. And it's honestly like the Globetrotter way of life of like, when you have nothing to lose, like that's where the magic happens. Let something take shape.
Yeah. Just like enjoy it, live it up. If you fall in love, let it happen.
Exactly. Let it happen. So as one of your viral TikToks puts it, hostels are horny.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen or been part of any hostel love triangles?
Oh, good question. Love triangle? I don't think so.
But you've seen them.
Of course, like everyone has crushes in hostels.
Oh, yeah.
I think every hostel you go to, there's going to be like at least some tension, you know?
Yes, thick in the air. You can cut it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, oh my God, I remember being in Colombia on this island at this hostel, Secreto Hostel. It's like one of the best places ever. And I met these Dutch girls and we were hanging out like the whole time. And then there were 3 French guys. And like by the end of the night, like we had all kissed like one of the French boys. And it was like the funniest thing ever. Yeah.
Yes. A pure Mamma Mia moment. Love to see it.
Yeah. And everyone is like beautiful too, I feel like in hostels.
Yes. Everyone's got the traveler's glow to them. Is full of momentum from all their travels and is down.
Yeah. So down. Yeah.
Whenever I walk into like a hostel happy hour or whatnot, I always kind of have in the back of my mind, I'm like, what am I walking into right now? Like what dynamics are already at play? I don't want to step on any toes.
True. Yeah. I know it's a weird thing to gauge because you're like, also like some people are really drunk and like you're just starting and like, I don't know. It's a
Major key.
Yeah. You've been to Mexico City, right? Mm-hmm. Have you stayed at Casa Pepe?
I knew you was about to say. Yes, I have. That is that bitch.
Okay. They have the greatest happy hours.
It's legendary. Like there's a cowbell involved.
It's dangerous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So for those that are unaware of the Casa Pepe happy hour legend, I think it starts at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's very early.
Yeah, it's early. And it's like, what is it? Unlimited margs and beer, or like just the cheapest you can find.
For like 50 pesos. Yeah, like 250.
Exactly. And everybody starts early. And that's the thing. Like I work till 7 p.m. So like by the time I got there, it was maybe like 8:30 if I'm being conservative, you know? And everyone was already lit. Like lit.
Everyone's so drunk.
Yeah. And I was like, I have a lot of catching up to do.
And you gotta go. Yeah, you just gotta like get on pace with everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only option.
Yeah, exactly. Casa Pepe, for example, like I've gone to Mexico City and stayed there. They have amazing private rooms, which was like really conducive for like the digital nomad life or, you know, meeting somebody. But I've also stayed in Airbnbs and then just gone to Casa Pepe's rooftop. So like that's a pro tip for y'all too. Like just go.
Yeah, just show up. It's also like so welcoming. Every time I've gone to the rooftop there, like no one knows anyone and you kind of just sit down and they're like, where are you from? What are you doing? Do you want to get dinner after? Or like go out, you know, it's like that kind of thing.
Yes. 10 out of 10, like Casa Pepe and Mexico City as a mix together. Like it's such a great traveler city.
It is. Yeah. I've met so many cool people there.
Yeah. You bring up a great point though of it being one of the best because it makes me think of some of the worst. Like, have you ever walked into a hostel and been like, yo, there is absolutely no vibe here right now?
For sure. Yeah. That has happened so many times. No, but I feel like in those hostels, you can kind of take advantage of the quiet and then just like use that time to like do your own thing and like sleep in and like, yeah.
I love that perspective. That's glass half full as fuck.
Yeah. Also, because I feel like I get tired of partying kind of easily. So sometimes I need that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's just honestly been some hostels I walk in, like not even on the party spectrum, but just like, oh, okay, y'all don't have any events. I thought you did.
Yeah, like what do you do then? Just like go on the apps and start swiping.
Right. Within 24 hours, I'm like devolving, falling apart.
Yeah, exactly.
But to your point, get on them apps or just, maybe catch up on them shows. Give this moment to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Like date yourself for a day or two.
Date yourself, go get that gelato, and understand that the next hostel, it'll be better.
Exactly.
So I've just got to ask, following you on Instagram, I'm like, how does she take these grid-worthy photos when you're alone in these streets? For
Thank
real.
you.
Please, give us the tips on capturing content while you're out and about without getting embarrassed or even just getting the angles.
Yeah, so I always bring my tripod with me. I actually rarely use it. I think in Colombia and Mexico, I used it maybe like once total, but it's always just nice having that around, like in case you really want good pictures. And otherwise, I'll just have people I'm with take pictures and like I will be annoying, but also like I will offer to be their photographer in return. And like, I think I'm a pretty good photographer, so like they'll get good pictures out of it too. So it's okay.
Right. Pay it forward.
Exactly. And then in terms of not getting embarrassed, no, you will get embarrassed. Like it is embarrassing taking pictures of yourself in public, but like you're never going to see these people again and like they're never going to see you again. So like who cares?
Right.
It's worth the shot.
Thank you. Love that. The cringe, like you're saying, is so short term versus like that photo you're going to have forever.
Yeah, no, my whole thing this year is embracing the cringe. Yeah, because like I do so many things that give myself the ick. Like even when I'm posting on my Instagram like stories, sometimes I'm like, ugh, like this is so gross. Like people that I know are perceiving me as this, but now I'm just like, who cares? Like maybe this will turn into like a paid thing. So like, I'm just embracing it. Like maybe I can become a travel blogger as a profession. So if this is what it takes, then I'm still going to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those moments are so interesting too, because it's like such a sneak peek into our own psyche, right? Like, because it starts with us.
True.
Yeah. And you're knee deep in like blossoming into like this becoming like a full-time gig for you. Like, let's just get into that. When was it for you that you were like, I'm going to start making a reel and I'm going to fucking do it every day if I can?
Good question. I think, I don't even know. I think just realizing that like people actually respond well to these and like people are like saving them and like sending them to people and like commenting and like asking questions. And you're like, if this one video even helps one person, then like I'll easily make another if it helps one other person. That is like very rewarding that like you're actually giving out useful information that will help people. Because otherwise, I don't know, just like doing it for like people that I know, like I don't really care that much. Like I don't want people I know perceiving me, but like strangers on the internet thinking that like my information is useful is like, wow, like yes, I'm gonna keep doing this. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, you are welcome to perceive me.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I'm like very cool. Oh, wait. And it's so funny when people DM me on Instagram and then I respond and they're like, oh, wow. Like, I can't believe you responded. And I'm like, I'm not that cool. Like, this is like a casual thing.
Right. I am available to you.
Yeah. Like, of course I'll answer your questions. Of course I'll help you.
I was talking about post-travel depression on Instagram after I came back from Costa Rica because I was knee deep in that sucker. And I was, I was thinking to myself, I was like, one way in which that we can combat that in an active way is like come back home, do your own personal journaling about what you just went through, go through your photos, whatever. But from this energy of like gratitude, of like, I just got to do that, versus, man, it's over. I don't know if I'll ever feel that high, free again, whatever. And, consider like maybe I can do something with this information that I just learned, like these photos.
For sure.
Can I make a blog about it? Can I make a TikTok? Because I do think that there's like some long tail contentment that you could chase through that. Like your tips.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Like your tips helping somebody else and then messaging you later and being like, dude, you killed my trip for me.
Oh my God. Like I started my like an actual website, I think in 2020. And then I didn't post anything for about a year because it's such a pain and so much easier just like posting on Instagram and TikTok. But then I actually wrote out like a 9-day Guatemala itinerary. And then someone commented on or like DM me on Instagram and they were like, oh my God, I just like used your whole itinerary and we had so much fun doing all of the things that you suggested. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe someone actually read it and like took my suggestions. Like, yeah. So it's like people do read the blogs and save your posts, like find all the information useful, which is so great. And yeah, you are kind of still living in that moment, like while you're posting it and like talking about it. And it's really cute.
Yay. I love that. So you're fresh off of 4.5 months in Mexico and Colombia, and I imagine that you're just bursting with recommendations. So let's play a game of rapid fire where I ask you for a recommendation and you list a destination you visited that fits that vibe just right. Down?
All right. Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, so down.
Yes. So what city would you recommend to someone who is looking for the best nightlife?
Ooh, maybe Mexico City.
Oof, big agree.
Yeah, there are also the secret like clubs that they have that are just like, I don't know, you find on Instagram pages or whatever, you get sent a location and then you show up and there's like DJs. It's so cool.
Yes, I love a little secret location, enter through a tiny little door, and then you're there till 7 a.m.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Nice.
So fun.
So where would you recommend if someone just wants to escape? What's the best escape from it all?
Ooh, maybe like the islands in Colombia, like Isla Rosario probably Isla Rosario. It's like 2 hours from Cartagena. The hostel, Secreto Hostel, is like the best place ever. It's basically just like kind of a resort or like camp hostel where you kind of stay there and the island is tiny. It's like 40 minutes walking across on all sides, and it's a bunch of backpackers, and they have like DJ parties on the beach, on their private beach with like bonfires at night. So fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it's only $14 a night.
What city has the hottest people? Where do we go to get the hotties?
Oh, I want to say maybe Sayulita. But if you're into like a very niche, like surfer, long hair, like surfer Jesus.
Ooh.
That's like what me and my friends would call everyone in Sayulita. They're just like surfer Jesus. Jesuses.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
The plural Jesus. I am with you, honestly. Like, everybody's just glistening and glowing and like full of vitamin D. It's just unreal.
Yeah, everyone's happy. You can practice your Spanish and then dance salsa with them. Yeah, it's great.
Oof. Right. I mean, that town has it all, baby.
Everything. Yeah, I could literally live there.
So on to my last question of our rapid fire game.
Okay.
Where would you tell somebody that is just looking for like the ultimate date city?
Honestly, I want to say maybe Mexico City. Yeah, I feel like it's low-key kind of romantic. There's so many parks you can go to. There's so many museums that's just like very Pinterest, like, artsy. There's also, what is it called? Xochimilco, where you can go on like the floating boats and like the perfect date day and night. You can go clubbing. They have amazing rooftop bars. Also, I feel like the people in Mexico City are also very hot. It's like a very hot city.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God. I'm with you. Like, what comes forth for me is that in Mexico City, you can have so many different types of dates.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you were bringing up the clubbing, you were bringing up the rooftop bar. Maybe you want to do something a little bit more artistic. Like you can literally try on a different personality on every date.
Yeah, there's like everything, like all of like Mexican culture is there. It's the best.
So speaking of the best date cities, do you have a travel love story that you'd be down to share with us?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I was in Sayulita the week before and with two of my really good friends who I met in Sayulita, and they're both amazing. And we decided to take shrooms on the beach in Playa Caricitos, which is like the most beautiful beach with the best sunsets. And we were going to go there like on a very like spiritual journey. Like, let's manifest what we want in life this year. Let's figure out, you know, like what's going to make us happy. What I manifested, I was like, I want to have a travel romance for like the rest of my time in Mexico. And then the next week I go to Guadalajara and I met up with two girls that I met previously in Sayulita, and they're like German exchange students. And we go out with some of their friends. And the day after we hang out with them again and we go to where they're living. It's like this giant house, and I meet this guy and we basically hang out for like the next 10 days. I extended my flight in Guadalajara for like another week, and we hang out every day. And I don't know, he's just like super cool. He's Scottish, so the accent is very cute, and like dyes his hair, paints his nails, like super artsy. Yeah, just like so much fun. And after I left Guadalajara, I traveled around for probably another month to the south in Chiapas and everything. And going back home, on my way home, I stopped in Guadalajara for another like 10 days. And we actually went to Sayulita together. It was super cute. Yeah, it was so fun. And I actually, before I went to Colombia, I stopped in Guadalajara again.
Ooh.
And went to see him.
I love it. I love it.
Ridiculous.
When we look at your past flights and see like, okay, all these different random cities, and then we got GDL 3 times.
So embarrassing.
No, not at all. I'm all for this.
Yeah, honestly, like the dream traveling.
Yeah, it just takes everything to the next level.
Yeah. And like he's lived there for like 2 years now, so he knows like all the cool spots and like has a lot of cool friends. So it was like basically living in the city. Like it's so nice. Yeah.
I always like to think that whenever, you know, you have these travel love stories in a particular city, it's like you're in a throuple. Like the city plays a part, you know?
Yeah. And like when you think of the city now, it's like always going to be a little bit romantic, and like you're going to like it way more than just like going there for a few days and like fucking around.
Yeah, true. In the literal figurative sense.
Yeah, all the ways.
Right. And I also have been told by actually many a person that Guadalajara has like the hottest people. Is this true?
Yes, I think so. I think also Guadalajara is one of Mexico's like gayest cities. So it's like very liberal, which is really nice. So like the young people that you meet are very like open-minded, and you're going to have a lot in common with them. And it's very like streetwear, you know, like hipster. There's a lot of cute cafes, and tequila is like 40 minutes away, and you can like go on a tequila tour. Yeah, like there's so much to do. It's so cute.
Nice. So any plans on the horizon to reunite?
No, not really. I don't know. We'll see. Well, he does work, so that's he's a little bit more committed to like being in one area for a while, but maybe like he's a teacher, so maybe like during the summer or like spring break, we'll see. I don't know.
And honestly, like that's such an unfair question sometimes too. Like any plans to reunite, it's like, can I just have this moment right now? Like this was great. Like I haven't jumped there yet.
No, yeah. Also, it's like I can't expect like anyone to commit to something when like I can't either. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it goes 2 ways for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are the moments of recognition I have on the apps too, where I'm like, what am I doing? Like if I can't answer that, how can I expect someone else to answer that?
Exactly. Like, oh my God, I went on a date on Saturday, and basically the guy like just moved to Chicago, and I was like, oh, I'm like just traveling around for a while, but like if you want, you can come to Ecuador with me next month. Like just meet me there. It's fine. And I feel like that's like what I tell everyone. Like I'm just traveling, but if you want, you can meet me wherever. And like maybe I'll visit you too.
Yeah, totally. I feel like we're very soul sister on the I'm here at my parents' house for a couple months, but I will leave you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Like I'm going regardless.
Right.
Because that's just how I want to live.
Amazing. So on that note, how can people keep up with you?
I am pretty active on Instagram, HuTravelsTheWorld, HU, because that's my last name. And then also on TikTok.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, if you want to read my blog, HuTravelsTheWorld.com, I'm trying to post more on there.
Amazing. And like you said, you're dropping like 9-day itineraries. That's gold.
Yeah. Oh, I recently put out like the ultimate Colombia hostel guide for like most cities in Colombia, or even just like the most popular hostels. You don't have to look at Hostel World. You can just go directly on the blog and find them.
Yay. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Nicole, for dropping by, spilling the tea, getting real with us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been so much fun. We need to go on a trip together or just like meet up somewhere.
Honestly, drop a pin. I will be right there.
Perfect. Let's go.
To keep up with Nicole and her travels, follow her on Instagram and TikTok at HuTravelsTheWorld. You can also check out her travel blog full of bookmark-worthy itineraries at HuTravelsTheWorld.com. Want to link up with like-minded Globetrotters all over the world? Find your squad by joining Globetrotters Facebook group. Our Facebook group is a private space to ask all your travel questions, swap stories, and meet up with other adventurers on your wavelength. The Facebook group is also the first to hear about any trips I've got coming up, and how you can join me. So, to join the squad, all you gotta do is search Globetrotter Travel Gang on Facebook. The link is also in this episode's description. Let's wrap things up with our juiciest voicemail yet, straight off the Globetrotter hotline. Today's extra steamy story takes place under the guise of nightfall at the Eiffel Tower. Enjoy, while I go take a cold shower.
When I was in Paris, I met this gorgeous, like 6'8" Indian man at the bar at my hostel. And so we went out for drinks that night, and we decided to go to the Eiffel Tower on the way back to the hostel at like 3-4 in the morning. And this was his first time seeing the Eiffel Tower ever. And we had sex on the lawn right underneath the Eiffel Tower, and then proceeded to stay there for a week together and traveled another couple weeks together.
Inspired to share your own epic travel story on the Globetrotter hotline? All you gotta do is go to speakpipe.com/Globetrotter to leave an up to 90-second voicemail detailing your travel tale. A quickie, if you will. Want to stay anonymous? No name is required to leave a voicemail. Till next time, I'm Cassy Martinez.